I had found the answer. I had learned to pray with faith to guide me. I found the way when the sun is shining for me each day. I found the answer. I had learned to pray. My name is Barbara Burnett, and today I want to tell you a little bit about my story. I want to tell you a little bit about my life. I was born and raised in a wonderful family, George and Jackie Burnett, my parents. I'm really grateful for them. My dad was in the military, so therefore I was raised up in the military as a military brat. As time passed on, being a part of the military caused me, I think, to become a little adventurous. So I had a lot of adventure in me. As the years progressed on coming out of high school, I left my parents and came to the United States, where they were still in Germany. During that time, I became interested in fellas. So I had gotten married and had a beautiful baby girl. During the time that marriage failed, being headstrong and independent, wanted to work and raise my daughter on my own. But during that venture, it didn't quite work out like it should. I continued on with my lifestyle through the years. I managed to marry with 5 failed marriages. During that time, I started encountering adventurous items like partying, hanging out with people that were not that did not have a good religious background. So it was a lot of negative factors. Through the 5 failed marriages, different things happened that were a little traumatizing, and not realizing what I was actually getting myself into. During that time, I became pregnant. I carried a baby full term. A week before the baby's due date, they couldn't find a heartbeat. So it was so many years ago, the technology wasn't like it is today. And my blood pressure was too high for them to remove the baby. So they sent me home, and I had to carry that baby inside me dead for 11 days until I went into what they call a death labor. During that time was very difficult. That was the worst 11 days I could have possibly experienced. Once that was done, I went into the labor, had the baby, but there was no cries, no tears. The tears came from me. My dad was there with me, being supportive. After that, it was just headed down the wrong track. Not knowing what I was getting myself into, crack cocaine took me to a level I didn't know I could reach. I became uninterested in my daughter, uninterested in my life, uninterested in anything that actually mattered. The drugs became an avenue for me to squash the pain, to not feel that hurt. The drugs took me so fast, I didn't know what was happening to my life. I started losing things. I lost my job, my car, my home. And thank God for my parents that they were there to pick up the pieces for me with my daughter. My mother was a praying woman, and she prayed for me a lot. And there was always what she would tell me, baby, pray, pray. At that time, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't care about prayer. Prayer wasn't doing anything for me. So I became that addict that would steal, lie, cheat, anything to support my habit. I was also with that fifth husband during this venture in my addiction, and we did a lot. We started getting in trouble, being arrested, in and out of the Harris County Jail. It started out fun at first because it was just little misdemeanors, but those misdemeanors started escalating into felony, and at that point, it was cardboard box living, downtown Houston. You could go to a store, get a cardboard box from someone and take it down a cardboard alley, and that's where I would sleep. There were restaurants downtown where we would go to the back, and when they would take out the garbage, that's where we would get our food. During the winter months when it was cold, we couldn't sleep in the boxes. So there were times when we would climb in the dumpsters in the back of those restaurants to stay warm for the food when they threw it out. Going to court about 15 times at Harris County. They were trying to give me 25 years in the penitentiary. Well, the one particular last time, as I was handcuffed to the jury box there in the courtroom, and the attorney came to me and he stated, young lady, I don't know what's going on here. He says, but sign this paper. He said, I can't explain it. He says, but you'll be out of here in 2 weeks. I immediately got on my knees in that courtroom that day. And I told God I was tired. And I wanted to go home. I stayed in Houston in that madness for 6 years. And I know during that entire 6 years, my mother and father prayed for me. And the coolest part about it, once I come home, started attending church again, and started getting hungry for the Lord, I learned that Fellowship Bible Church did a lot of praying for me. They prayed for me because I couldn't pray for myself. I give God all the glory. I continue to pray with my mom. I learned how to pray with my mom. And that's when my life and the transition started moving forward. And it was all due to God's good grace. God saw fit for me not to be housed in a penitentiary for 25 years. God has a plan for us all. Not knowing that He brought me back here to help someone else. And that's what I do on a daily basis today. I try to help. God gave me strength to pick myself up. I got back into school. I started school when I was 50 years old. And this year I graduated with my bachelor's. My sister, she's supposed to be the little sister, but she led me. And she continues to lead me. She encourages me. She's kind of taken the place of my mom. I've learned how to pray on my own now, so I ride in on my own prayers. But I'm grateful for her. And my intention is to even continue. My plan is to start working on my master's. That's next. God is not through with me. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on it. I'm going to wait.